Well, I see you guys got a PS3, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Smooth's got an Xbox 360. Now,
Yep.
I actually have I have a PS3. I've always been a Sony player for the last few years. And actually, my PS3 broke last year.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was playing the My Player, and I think I played it too much, and it broke or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that tends to happen. That mode's pretty addicting. We've all
oh,
been there.
oh my God, you can't stop it. But I'm glad it did because I got my life back.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Now I'm gonna be downloading some of these videos too, not to my channel here, but maybe to a website or something like that, so people can watch me play. Here's my question though. You have a PS3. He has a 360. Microsoft, Sony. Which one should I go with?
Oh, that's a tough call. I mean, I actually do own a 360, and everybody asked me about that. And it was actually the first one I bought between the two. But as a college student, you get a little bit tired of paying that subscription to play on Xbox Live. And I don't know. From our experience, whenever I've seen players on 360, it always seems like there's a better player base there because there are more people playing the games. But at the same time, if you're not using PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called, the new subscription-based PSN function they have on the PS3, you still get a pretty good gameplay experience. But it always seems like these games that are built and designed on the 360 seem to run better and look smoother on the 360 itself. But I feel like the PS3, I don't know, it just seems to fit better for me.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends had 360s. I've always been a Sony guy, getting the PlayStations and PlayStation 2 and 3. And, I always hear about the red ring of death and how their Xbox 360 just crashed. And I've never had that with the PS3 or PS2.
Yeah, that's a nightmare that I don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah, and I heard it. I've seen it actually. And it takes a while to get your console back too. A few weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. So some major differences. Like somebody that's just going to the store and they don't know which one to buy. What are the major differences that you give the PlayStation the edge over the Sony? Excuse me, the Microsoft 360. Some major stuff.
Well, PlayStation, obviously, I love the fact that you don't have to pay to play online, and especially that's a huge deal with 2K because I'm always online playing pickup games or quick ranked games, whatever they may be. And if you happen to buy Blu-rays, that is a huge plus. And I tend to watch those on occasion. But another thing a lot of people don't realize about the 360, and it's kind of the same with the PS3, but the PS3 is a little bit cooler running. The Xbox actually runs, it's like a mini space heater when you have that thing on in a small room. And like I had one running during my freshman year in a dorm, and I mean I could run that during the winter and I'd be fine. Just leave the Xbox on, and the room was perfect temperature, if not too hot. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So why does Xbox charge for their online service? Is it just because it's better, or what do they do different than PS3?
It is probably better. I played a little bit online. I played some Halo and all that, and the experience with them having their own setup for the microphones and the system that they have there, and the online play, I feel like from what I played on 360, it's almost as less laggy, but I can't speak that much to it because I don't own the 360 myself.
Yeah, that's definitely true, I think. And I don't know, it just seems like the Xbox is always going to have that player base because they have that Microsoft name, and it's always, I don't know, being so heavily advertised, and all the big games are almost always coming out on the 360. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you guys have been on, like I said, since February 2010. You guys got some videos up here, about 70, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good number, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys definitely putting in some work, and also, like I said, you guys got high quality videos. Now, we talked about Chris Smooth and everything else, so this may be the reason, and I'll get to that in a second. That's where I found you guys actually. But what made you guys do this? What got you started, and what's you guys' YouTube story?
Oh, that's kind of a combination of things, really. I mean, first time I got 2K10, I went on Google YouTube, and I was like 2K10, my player. First thing that popped up was Chris Smoove, and I watched a couple of his videos, and through that first video, I was instantly hooked. I was watching Summer Circuit and watching pretty much every video after that, and I really just admired the way he went about the game, and he seemed to know so much about the game. He was extremely humble about the whole entire process, and I was thinking, I got a little bit of money left around and lying around here and there, and I play it all the time, and at the time, it made that center campaign with the crazy afro, and I played so many pickup games, and I was so sick of these people just driving into paint that I wanted a giant center that would just sit there and block shots nonstop. And people are always sending me messages on PSN saying, "Man, it was hilarious to watch you play. You had over 10 blocks this game and triple double." And I was just like, "Yeah, I love sitting down there. I mean, I pretty much camped down there, but I loved playing defense." And somebody's like, "Oh, you should consider posting some stuff if you can," because I had a pretty good friend on PSN at the time, and I was talking to him about it. And I started talking to Shempy here, and sure enough, just started building some steam, and a little bit of help here and there, and advice from some friends, and we got the show underway.
Cool. It's been uphill ever since. You guys got a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, almost 500,000 views. You guys are doing real well. Now let's talk about, speaking of campaign, let's talk about you guys as players. All right, and then we'll talk about your other videos. So let's start with you, Man Kate. Let's talk about your my player.
Well, campaign actually wasn't my first my player, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. I made a couple of players, made a small forward, and I didn't get draft combine originally, and I kept going to some really bad teams and getting cut, and I was finally like, I just want to play online, because I'd been spending so much time. I played probably 5-6 pickup games a day online with my player, and I was only playing as a 40 or 50 overall, and I was doing pretty well, even with those guys just running around and trying to steal the ball and being a little bit obnoxious and kind of annoying. But I made my campaign, and I love Ben Wallace. I'm a big Pistons fan. I'm loving that he's back with the team right now, and just love his attitude, love the hard work, and I've always felt like if he had a couple more inches, he'd be amazing. And granted, campaign's got about, I don't even know, 7, 8, 9 inches on him. But
yeah.
I felt like I had to be a 7'5" center to be competitive defensively, especially when I'm running into small forwards that are 7 foot, power forwards that are 7'2", 7'3", 7'4", and tons 7'5" centers. It felt right.
What kind of offensive player is he?
Well, originally he was just modeled after Dwight Howard. I didn't want him to be an amazing, post player. And, he really excelled in rebounding, and that was what I wanted him to do. But at 7'5", it got a little bit old just constantly dunking. And, I never really wanted to always have the ball in my hands, but I eventually developed that post game, and, he's pretty solid down there now. So, I don't know. He's a pretty complete player these days, but he was fun to play with, especially early on.
Okay. Now you like you said, you patterned him after Ben Wallace with the afro and things like that, but he doesn't really look like you, does he?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
No. We get so many comments asking if we're black, and unfortunately that is not the case. We are white as can be, as our YouTube page says, and there's nothing in it. I mean, we just love Ben Wallace, and I think he looks pretty awesome campaign. I really enjoy the way he looks.
Okay. Now, Shempy, you have a player too, right?
Yeah. I've got Shempy Papadopoulos. Funny story on the name, actually. I was just scrolling through the name bank because there's a bank of names where it actually, the announcers will say it when they make a play, and that was something I kind of wanted. And I found this. I thought it was a pretty fun name at the time, but it's actually Shempy Papadopoulos. And later find out that it's one of the most popular Greek names around.
Wow.
And I had all these guys asking me if I was Greek, and it was interesting. But yeah, I liked the name, and honestly, I thought it was it had more to do with the play and the play style than the name. So I just chose the name, and that's how that came to be.
Wow.
But
okay.
Yeah, in terms of play style, I actually just wanted to be a pass first point guard, and that's the way it started. I put up my dribbling and my passing. I wanted to be a slash and then pass. Kind of a Steve Nash-esque.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be a huge offensive player, but my player really, it pushes you to do it because in order to get the high A and A plus ratings in the game, you basically have to do some scoring and you have to, get involved in the offense. And you can't always do everything on defense and just getting assists.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's like a Steve Nash.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of tried to emulate him like that at first and started developing the shooting game and, but I mean, I wouldn't say I follow any play style anymore because he's just so dominant in every respect.
Okay.
And that's the way it gets later in the game, which, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate because, early on you have the set of skills, to use them and to use the player a certain way, and I kind of like that. I couldn't shoot layups that well or, finish in the lane, but I could kick it out, bring it inside, and had enough layup to finish if I needed to or kick it out, which is, my first, always my first look, but, eventually you play enough and you get all these points and you got to put them somewhere. So
yeah, and once you get that vert up and you can get that dunk up to 85, your play style starts to change a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you got a center and he has a point guard. Okay. Now obviously you guys play two different positions, but here's my question because I've watched all you guys' videos and I enjoy them. Who has a better point guard and who has a better center as far as their positions go? As far as, so Campaign is a center, dominant, and he's probably the best center in the NBA right now, right?
Yeah, it's safe to say.
Okay, and your point guard is the best point guard in the NBA right now, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so for their respective positions, who's a better player?
I'd have to say Campaign is. He's so dominant in the defensive end, and I wish I could say that about Shempy, but I let some easy plays go in, and he's just so much more of a complete player and just fun to watch, and I feel like he can take over a game better than Shempy Papadopoulos can.
Okay. Now,
yeah, I mean, I hate to agree with him, and it is my player, but, there are times when the centers can take over games, and I've always respected that when a big man just, goes to town in any game, and, I don't know, love watching it, so I respect Campaign, I guess.
Okay. So, Mancake, if you were using the point guard and if Shempy was using the center, you guys would still say the same thing? Does it have to do with just the player as far as the virtual player, or does it have to do with the person controlling them, or is it a combination of both?
Well, let's just say I wouldn't be as good of a power forward center player as Ben is here. He's definitely had more experience with the game, especially with the bigs. I'm actually not a very good player when it comes to the big men. I could do some post moves and, do the shot blocks, but I'm nowhere near as dominant as Ben, especially in online play, because you have to adjust to the lag. And I'm pretty much there with the point guards and shooting guards, but I'm nowhere near ready to play online as a center.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like even at 7'5", when you're starting off as a center, people think you can just grab every rebound. It's so much about boxing out and timing your jumps, and that's one thing I really worked on. And it's really hard to get a ton of rebounds online when you're playing on crew games or pickup games, and it's something I pride myself in occasionally. But in the last video, I think we had Chempy in a team-up pickup game, and he got stuck playing as Tim Duncan, and he got so many knocks because he only got one rebound.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I love Tim Duncan. I love his play. I wish I could have played him better and, showed my respect a little better than that. But